the sunny South African Lowveld. My name is Brent, and I have Zander on his first solo mission on camera here at Safari Live, so wish him well. I think people obviously decided to give him a baptism of fire by setting him loose for me, so hopefully we find some wild dogs. And of course there we have James and VM out in the other vehicle. Herbie is out tracking, and he's checked the last position of the 4 leopards that were there this morning. They have moved, so both James and myself are doing a quick scurry about trying to see if we can find any. I did hear some monkeys alarm calling near the Djuma pan about an hour ago. Now of course it is a beautiful afternoon. It's about 23 degrees Celsius, which of course I can never remember the Fahrenheit, but hopefully it's going to be filled with cats and other creatures. And we are live. You're watching me not use my hands driving down a little river system, and we are able to take questions. Is that a leopard track? No, it is not. And we can do that by, you can send us a question by using the email questions@WildEarthTV, or you can use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. And it's wonderful, nice thick sand, don't have to do any work. It's amazing, I don't even actually have to use the accelerator. Put the car into low range, so the low revs, and the sand just keeps steering the tires for me. I could almost get off and walk next to you. But not when there's a corner coming, just in case the car decides to go rogue. Imagine poor Zander on his first day, I just get out and let the car run away with my cameraman. So we're all checking around to make sure where Queen Karula and the Cubs have gone, and of course the big boy, Mr. Tingana, was there as well. So hopefully one of those 4 leopards will be found on the Sunset Safari. I might also take a little gamble down to Cheetah Plains and see if the sticks might be around. I did hear a report of cheetah yesterday up north in Buffelshoek, so maybe they've been moving down to the south towards Cheetah Plains. And now to probably one of the most entertaining human beings in the African bushveld. Let's go say a good afternoon to James Henry.
Good afternoon and a warm, wintry welcome to this afternoon's safari, aka game drive. My name is James Henry, as a very kind compliment from one of the most irascible and profoundly interesting human beings in the bush, I feel. And over here we have some beefaloes. VM is on camera. My name is James, for those of you who are wondering. VM's thumb, of course, is much longer than the rest of his body. In fact, it is the most unusually long thumb I've ever seen. VM is in fact only 4'3", and his thumb about 2 feet tall. It's quite an impressive achievement that he has there. So some buffalo here. I wondered where they've been since I've been back from leave. I haven't seen them at any of the pans. The only buffalo I've seen, well, he was severely reduced by a number of lions that had eaten him. And, well, here they all are. They're sitting at the Galago pan. They're resting up in the sun. It's a glorious 23 degrees Celsius or 73 degrees Fahrenheit. So a very pleasant temperature out in the sun. That, of course, will change over the course of the next month. Next month, or in October, you will find that sitting in the sun will become something of a trial. Now, we're as live as Brent is, which means we'd love to talk to you during the course of the afternoon. Hashtag Safari Live or questions@WildEarth.TV. Would be great to hear from you. And as Brent says, those leopards are, well, they're not where they were this morning, all 4 of them. Herbie's been checking around there for much of the afternoon. And these buffalo are going to be our first start. We also don't know where the Nkuhuma pride has gone, and so we'll probably see if we can find some tracks of them. And you'll excuse me not making too much eye contact with you right now because the sun is so very bright in my eyes, VM. Right, okay, I think that's probably enough of these buffalo. We'll leave them here to relax. The only other thing for me to tell you is it's called the Galago Pan because over there is the Galago camp. And you can come and stay there if you like. And it's a really pleasant bush experience, quite possibly the best value bed in the Sabi sand. It's right here. Hello, Beefy. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I've been gone for a long time. Did you notice? I don't feel like that you are looking nearly excited enough by my return. In fact, your expression is one of, well, I suppose it could be described as dumb insolence. Yes. Verging on contempt, I'd say. Well, thank you for that. We'll push on. Not even vaguely interested, Vim. Oh well. We'll find something else that likes us a bit more. Very bright sun today. Very bright sun it was yesterday afternoon as well. And I don't know, the last year or so I found the sun somewhat brighter than I have before. Perhaps it's because I'm getting old, VM. Do you think so? Yeah. Definitely. So old. Now, one of the trees that I found very early on when I was here, you know, many medicinal plants, and I know somebody asked during our walk this morning about medicinal plants and whether there were any, and of course there are, but then I kind of ran out of time to tell him about these medicinal plants. This thing, of course, is called Papia capensis, or the jacket plum, and the jacket plum was used originally, the oil in the fruits was used as a gun oil. So when the original settlers came into this area, they obviously it wasn't easy to go down to the local co-op and buy yourself some gun oil for defense or for hunting, and so they'd use the fruit of the jacket plum as gun oil. Then those who were follically challenged, like me, used to put their leaves on their foreheads, and apparently that used to help the hair to grow where they were, you know, balding. I have tried it once before. I'm going to try it again. We'll just see if it works. Obviously it's not going to work. I'm being ridiculous. But that is what the jacket plum has been used for before. A cure for baldness. It's got quite a nice taste to it too. The fruit does. It doesn't taste like gun oil or nitro solvent. Righty, on we go. And while we are going on our adventures, apparently we're going on an adventure, which is quite fun. Rebecca is in final control. She says, while we're on our adventures, let's go to Brent and get an update from him. We'll catch up with you, hopefully, with some good news shortly.
We've found an empty car out in the bush. Now that could only mean Herbie is around here somewhere on foot, trying to find those wonderful leopards for us. So I know this area is well covered, so I'm going to continue on and check somewhere else. Now let's go back into the Milwaukee River to continue our adventure. So lots of good lucks to Zander. Oh, Zander, now the pressure's on. Oh dear. And I'm sure Zander will rise to the occasion. So I want to check for tracks a little bit more carefully. So now, Zander, this is what happens when you have crazy presenters. Well, let's just go a little bit further, see, because if I want to check for tracks, I can't really see too well here. So sometimes it's better to sit on the bonnet to see if I can see tracks. So here we go. And the only tracks I'm seeing at the moment is Herbie's. So this is this little river system it's about to come up against here. This is the same river system where that kill was. So before the ground gets too hard, I better head back into the car. So we might have to sit on the bonnet a little later once we get past Herbie's tracks. It seems like Herbie's got it quite well covered here. Okay, so we're coming to one of my favorite and I think one of the most picturesque spots in the Mawati River. We've got this wonderful massive scotia tree here. Here it is, great leopard tree. But more importantly, as we come down, this little ravine that's coming through here, that is the same little ravine where Karula, Tingana and the Cubs were. And of course, I know a lot of our regular viewers will have heard me say this, but I just love the elephant steps. This has probably been used for hundreds of years, and the roots of the trees have formed little stepping stones that the elephants step down. Now, it's always good to switch off, listen for a few seconds, see if your ears can pick up any alarm calls, any slight sound that there might be a predator or an elephant or a buffalo or any other creature around us. While all is still in the drainage, we're having a look deeper up. Nope, no leopards there. Let's carry on. This is also one of the spots where one of my favorite birds on Djuma lives. We don't see them too often. It's a white-throated robin. But something we see very often and are very happy to see is Herbie. Hello, Herb. Come this side and talk to me here. Hi, Mvo. How's the trekking going? Nothing yet.
Yeah. They left that Nyama.
Have you checked south yet?
No. Not
Okay.
yet. I don't think they crossed. They might be. I just want to farm on this branch line to where they
Okay. So maybe I hope he's got a plan. He's going to head up that little ravine we just looked at. He thinks they might be sleeping somewhere close. There's a pan that might have mati. So you know where the big Timbuti tree is? Right close to there. That very big Timbuti tree. So maybe they went for a drink there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go around. I'll go to Mamba, and then maybe I'll go to Cheetah Plains.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll farm.
Good luck. I know you're going to find them. We always know Herbie's going to find them. Cheers, Herb. So there goes Herbie. We're off again. There we go. So I think Herbie's right. I think they could still be up there. There is one other spot that might still hold water, and there's this beautiful natural pan next to the biggest Timbuti I've ever seen on Djuma. And someone was asking about squirrels. Do we get squirrels in South Africa? We do. So they ask. Tiffany was asking about squirrels. I'll try find you a squirrel, Tiffany. Hopefully there's some about. Now what we have here is the tree squirrel or bush squirrel. We have another species of squirrel in South Africa, but it only occurs along the coast, very close to the Mozambique border, and that is the red squirrel. And if any of you have been to South Africa and you've seen squirrels in Cape Town, those are not indigenous. Those are grey squirrels that Cecil John Rhodes brought out at some point, and they actually have become quite a pest in Cape Town. And what they do is they take over birds' nests and things like that, so they're not good. It's very bad to move creatures from their natural habitat and put them somewhere else, because often they're going to affect the local creatures there. That's why one must always be very careful. If you've got aquariums or anything like that, you can introduce foreign fish species into the system very easily. Now, Florida's got a massive problem with that, and hello, not a leopard track. So Florida's got massive problem with that. The freshwater waterways of Florida are infested with multiple different exotic species, including the same species of catfish that we get here in the middle of the African bush. The sharp-toothed catfish, Clarinus charybdis. Now they're incredibly hardy. They can breathe both air from the air and also extract via their gills, and can walk when over distance. When it gets very dry, they'll actually move over land to a new body of water. That, of course, is if there is a body of water to move to. And They also can encase themselves in mud and survive through a drought. No sign of any tracks, but there's some little birds. Well, actually quite big birds for birds out in the bush. There they are over there. Some Natal francolins. Oh, scuttle. Oh, he ran behind the bush. There we go. Forward a little. Well, actually, I think backwards is going to be the key. Oh, no, they're being very shy. There's going to be another one coming out. There he goes. Now, ground birds that are actually able to move incredibly quickly along the ground to escape predators, but of course can jump to the trees, can spring into flight if need be. Well, we let them continue their forage for grass seeds, termites and other creepy crawlies, and we're going to keep on our search down the Mawati River and then towards Mumba Road, and we'll be listening intently for Herbie to let us know if he finds any tracks. Okay, so before I scare poor Thunder again by disappearing from the car, or from the driver's seat at least, let's go back to Commander Bond.
If Zander thinks that is the first and last time he's going to be afraid by, or made afraid by Brent-Leo Smith, he's got another thing coming. I can't wait for Zander to have his first wild dog hunt experience with Brent-Leo Smith. He will come back with his beard turned the colour of Gandalf's. Do you not think so, VM?
I think if you ask David, your wild dog experience was not scary.
My wild dog experience? No, David would never say that. He certainly wouldn't in my presence. Now, what we've done is we've come onto Hyena Road. Now, we thought the Nkahuma Pride possibly came between here and Beefleshoek Dam. So I'm going to go from here to Beefleshoek Dam to see if they haven't popped out to have a little bit of a drink. I don't think those little cubs would have been taken too far from where they were eating yesterday. They moved away from the kill. The vultures definitely came down and had a pick at the carcass from the buffalo. And what I was saying yesterday was that I thought that the vultures were, severely depleted in number. And I stand by that, but I saw a wonderful video from Londolozi that was posted yesterday, just a very short one, of a whole lot of hyenas, and they were fighting with a massive number of vultures over a hippo carcass that had just, a hippo that had just died. So there seemed to be some around, which is good. Go ahead, Brent. Brent is hailing me.
I'll check down Mumba Road. If I get nothing, I'm going to head towards CP, so you're more than welcome to come look for the Karula and the Cubs.
Copy, thank you. So there was just Brent there saying, obviously, that he's going to go to Cheetah Plains once he's had one final look around where those leopards were today. Other than that, we haven't found much. We did see some nyala, but they disappeared off into the bush, and one duiker, and I became excited, and I pointed at it, and it didn't like being pointed at, so it ran off. Otherwise, very quiet. And just to remind you to please keep your eyes on the sky, because, of course, the Wahlberg's eagle must shortly return, and I would like to spot it first before Brent-Leo Smith. Though it'll probably be not possible because he, of course, lives in Hoedspruit, and if he goes anywhere near there, I think they actually come back there. Often they're found in that just above the town before they get back here. No, it isn't. It's a batalier. Can you see it, VMP? There we go, everybody. 3 pixels. Male batalier, young one, just gliding peacefully across the sky, over the top of the aerial, possibly getting a bit of a buzz from the signal being sent out. Think so, VM? Maybe we should attach a repeater to the bataliers. What do you think?
Or just cameras.
Or just cameras, yes. Cameras to the bataliers. That would certainly be cheaper than trying to do this drone malarkey.
A repeater on giraffe.
And a repeater on all the giraffes. Very good idea. Yes. Righty. Let's be serious, Vim. We need to find some cats. The other thing I just want to try and find during the course of this drive is a red thorn that's been pushed over by elephants, because we had some knob thorn today. Interestingly, you know that the inner bark of the knob thorns and the red thorns are very delicious to eat, but oh, hang on a second. Herbert, I think, has found the leopards. Ya ule kuibaw. She's just giving me some directions. Tamboti kui.
You can come from.
I'll come.
Okay, we're gonna keep moving on. I think. Oh, okay. So change of plans. Let me just speak to James on the radio. Okay, I just need to speak to James. It seems like Herbie's found them. James, what I'll do is I'll go in there. If they're going to move, I'll stay with them until you get close, and then I'm going to go to Cheetah Plains and check for the sticks. Copy, thanks. I'll let you know when I get in there. Okay, so Herbie's found them, but it sounds like there's elephants around them, so they might move. Copy, thanks, Herb. There's another ndlela that comes off Mamba straight to that Timbuti tree, and I'm on Mamba. I'll come in from Mamba. Copy, thanks. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether it's Tingana and all of them, or that Rev was just for Herbie. He wanted to hear exactly where we are, and I know a little sneaky road that we don't have to drive too far. So this is just to prepare Zander for a wild dog chase. It's not quite as pedantic. Leopards don't move at the same speed. And while we make our way towards those leopards, I've got some very interesting news for everyone out there. So this pack of 3 wild dogs. Okay, so as I was saying, that pack of 3 we've been seeing regularly is actually all the elephants have changed my road a lot. Let me just go out a bit. I'm going to go a bit higher. Alright, so that pack of 3 wild dogs that we've been seeing over the last while, for me, they just weren't quite screaming Investec pack or the Sabi Sands pack. So I sent off pictures of them to my friend who runs the Endangered Wildlife Trust Wild Dog Project in the Lowveld, and he identified them as dispersal members of the lower Sabi pack. Now, they luckily enough left before the terrible, terrible outbreak that affected that pack of canine distemper that wiped out the entire pack. So, very fortunate. So, very interesting. So, there is a chance that they might den quite late this year because they are a dispersal pack. And that's not uncommon. My dad at home has just found a dispersal wild dog den. So, I'm not quite. I am a little jealous that every afternoon he shuts down his computer and trundles along to go sit with the dogs. Okay, now enough about dogs, let's talk about some cats. And so it sounds like there's another kill. Isn't this incredible? We'll see what it is when we get a bit closer. Once we hop and skip over all the trees the elephants have pushed down. So on Bushwalk a while ago, I took you guys on a an adventure through that Tumberty tree where Herbie's found them. It happens to be that you've always got favorite things, and this we've spoken about before, this area, this drainage from the Moati where the elephant staircase is going up actually to where we found Karula. This is one of my favorite areas in the whole of Djuma, and I absolutely love it down here. FM Herbie, I'm just going to take the elephant in Clela so I don't have to go through the bush. So as I said, I absolutely love it down here, and this is one of my favorite areas to walk. I've seen honey badger on foot, and I actually did a segment out of this massive Tumberty tree. It's my favorite Tumberty on Djuma. It's also the biggest one on a wonderful termite mound, and this is very close to that area Herbie and I were talking about where there's a pan. So we do have to do a little bit of... Okay, so let's go. They are right here somewhere apparently. So the pan is just over there. So Herbie says go straight and look into the Shkova, and that's this little ravine. So we'll see if we can get a visual, and then we'll plan our movement from here. Okay, I just need to talk to Herbie quickly. Well, let me just use my eyes. Stop being lazy, Larry Smith. And so they're so they're a little bit further to the east. But and this is quite cool because Herbie and I were just speaking about this pan they might have come to, and that is between us and the Tumberty. So we can go have a look, and maybe this is like we said, it's a really good spot to look in case they come there for a drink. Now, whether it's got water or not, we're going to find out in the next few seconds. And the elephants have been rearranging this route a little bit. There we go. At least there are no thorns on us. So that's the thickest of it over. And we're going to be out in the clear in a few short seconds. Oh, there's a hole. Easy does it. Now there, I will show you shortly, is that incredible tree. Oh dear. The elephants have rearranged my path through here. So what I'm going to do is I've got to go a bit wider, so it's going to take a little bit longer. So while I do that, let's go see how Commander Bond is faring on his rush to get here.
Well, we haven't fared tremendously since you last saw us. We're just turning down now towards Buffelshoek Dam, and just to keep you posted, I'm sure Brent was telling you, but Herbie is guiding him in. He's very close to the leopards. Let's just give him a few minutes to actually work his way in there. I found one lion track with one cub track. Didn't look fresh to me, I think, but from before they came in and ate the buffalo down here. So we'll just do a little loop around this block and see if we can't find any more evidence of them. But that was around Hyena Road, and Hyena Road on Wendy's a bit of a disaster. We lost signal with you last time. But let's see what's at the waterhole here. Not very hot, so not likely to be too much going on here, but we might be lucky. There's a hippopotamus. We'll just pop up onto the wall here and sit sunning ourselves like the terrapins sitting on the hippopotamus's back. There we are. Now, let's just think carefully as to where those lions could be. Now you can see that the 20 millimeters of rain that we had has definitely had an effect. It's dropped water into an area where there was no water before, so that's good. It's kept Buffelshoek Dam from drying out. I suspect quite strongly that it would have dried out while we were on leave, actually, over the course of the last 3 weeks or so, if we hadn't had that rain. And just a really nice example. Oh, is that a second hippo or a bit of mud there, Vim? Just a really nice example of a serrated hinged terrapin there, lurking on the top of the hippopotamus. A huge serrated hinged terrapin. That's a big pile of mud and elephant dung to the left of the hippo there. I thought it might be a young hippo. Thank you, Viam. When Viam brings the camera back across to the presenter, it means that he is now thoroughly bored of what you're looking at, and it's time to press on. Not so, Viam. He's now silent, of course. Okay, I can't see any lions there, so let's move gently on. I'm tempted to go down and have a look at that kill site, and let's just see what's left. Maybe there'll be some lions in the shade of the drainage line, but I don't think the lions will want too much shade today. It's rather, I mean, there's a chilly breeze coming out of the southeast, and it's very pleasant sitting in the sun, which will not be said in a month or two from now. And people will be diving for cover. Right. My hair has not grown back as a result of the Papia capensis leaves. I checked. I'm still, unfortunately, going slightly Jason Statham on the top. I like to say that, of course. One might say many other unkind things about being bald. Viam, any baldness in your family? No. No. Doesn't seem to be an issue for you. No. Viam has a very impressive very impressive locks, which we wouldn't be discussing if I could actually find you an animal to look at. Okay, the kill was just down here. I think we're going to go and have one last look at what remains of the carcass. The vultures seem to have cleared off. I don't see any in the trees around here now, so I'm sure that means it's pretty much done. But it's possible that those lionesses and their cubs may have just popped back, because it's quite a good spot for them to be. Otherwise we'll continue on our way. So this is where the kill was, down here, and I don't know if you managed to watch it, but on Saturday night we watched the whole thing live. There we go. Can't see any lions here. I can see the dead beefalo though. I can smell the dead buffalo as well. Doesn't smell very nice, does it, Liam?
Okay, so we're busy still trying to find out where exactly this kill is. So sorry, I'm just on the radio again. FM tax, I think it might even be too difficult for our Mambimpan Movers. So there's the saffron tree, and she's supposed to be in front of the saffron tree somewhere. So there's the saffron tree, and there's unfortunately a fallen down knob thorn right in front of it. FM, I'm going to go down to the southern side. Maybe we'll get a view from there. Stand by one. I've just seen it. Okay, I've just spotted Queen Karula, and I can't see if there's a cub there yet. But I think the best view might be from the other side. You got her there. And look there, into the dark, into the shadow. It is a leopard indeed. There's Queen Karula right at the base of this ravine. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so just come out. Come wide, come wide. And you see this fallen down tree next to me here?
Yeah. Oh my God.
And giving me the evil eye from about 3 meters. I think it's Shongile. I didn't even see her. She's just lying there watching us. Look at that. And she's just watching us. There's not... Hello, little one. I think that's Shongile from what I can see. Just looking at her eye color. Why don't you guys let me know if I'm correct? Is it Shongile or is it Hosana? Isn't that stunning? I was so busy looking far away, I didn't realize there was a leopard cub next to me. Hello, little one. Now, and sorry, it seems like I'm now trying to see where the second cub is and where the meat is. It could be at the bottom in that drainage line. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on around here. Hey, little one. Oh, Queen Karula's on fine form at the moment. Yeah, so I can see Karula at the bottom. I'm just going to ask Herbie if the meat was in a tree or on the ground. Herbie. Herbie, was the Djuma up in a tree or was it on the ground? Okay, copy, thanks. Look, there she goes. It's going down, back down to Mom. It's amazing how... Look at that, isn't that just beautiful? Now, I presume, so from what Herbie says, the meat is literally directly below us, so where she's sort of heading, so we can't see it from the side. So we might have to try and get in from the other side. And there goes the tail. So it's going to take me a little while to get to a spot where I can cross. As you can see, it's very, very high to where Karula is. I'm just going to try and position us a little bit closer to the lip of the ravine. And let's just try from a bit further forward, maybe. Okay, so he says it's to the west of Mom, which is towards that way. I think it's literally right below us here. Oh, sorry about that terrible noise. Let me get away from that. I'm going to make my way around, but I just talked so much about this tree I adore so much that why not show it to you since we're right here. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's a massive Timbuti tree, multiple stems, but incredibly gorgeous. And I've always wanted to see a leopard in it, so maybe if they've got a kill here, I'm in luck that I might be able to see a leopard in this incredible Timbuti tree. Just trying to see, there might be, no, there's no other spot for me, unfortunately, to get a view. So, let's take you on a little adventure with us as we try to find a path through the river. I think I see one. Let's just see if it's a viable path. Quite often what looks to be viable ends up in a steep drop. But this doesn't look too bad. Nah, this looks like it's easy days for Team Rusty. Now it's always good to keep a lookout for big elephant paths when you're looking for a place to cross something quite steep. Elephants are incredibly capable of crossing steep areas, but they prefer to try go through where it's not so steep. Here we go. Okay. Oh, look at this. It's a civilized crossing compared to some of the crossings we've had to go through. So civilized. It's almost like it's a road. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, to try to figure out how to get back to where Karula is. Now that might not be so easy peasy lemon squeezy. So there's lots of S bends on the river, and she's on one of those bends. So it's either going to be back across onto that peninsula or from the furthest peninsula. My gut's telling me furthest peninsula is the one. Now, while we drive around the edge of rivers like this, you've got to be very careful for young timbuti trees, all the slow-growing trees, so we don't drive over any of the hardwoods. So let's just have a quick look. So this is the type of thing we're always on the lookout for, a baby timbuti tree, very slow-growing, very beautiful. So it's one of the things we always keep a sharp lookout for, so we don't change that, because those trees often will hold the bank system of these rivers together. Okay, so while I continue to navigate through this a little bit of a tricky area, we can go and have a look how Commander Bond's doing. Well, it seems like James is battling gremlins, so you're going to join me in this slightly difficult spot. Okay, but it looks like I found... Oh, it's these elephants just making my life difficult. Let's have a look. And try to sneak around the stump. And under the saffron tree. It has also been eaten by elephants. Oh, hello. So, watch out there, Zander. Proper baptism of fire for you here. Okay, you should be able to just pull it off to the side. There we go, the saffron out of the way. And I think we should be in a grand spot. Tax, just give me 2 minutes and I'll update you. Okay. Oh, Queen Karula, you have chosen a doozy of a spot. Okay, so to the west in the drainage is the meat. So can you see, if you look between those two trees, you just see a bit of a white belly. I think that's Mom having a snooze there. There's Karula, is it? Yes, I think that's Mum. Okay, let's, from where Herbert said, I'm trying to see, it might be a better view on the other side. Okay, and we'll try reposition again. So we might have to park a little bit further away to get a view. Ah, there we go. So, Monique, Yes, indeed, Karula has made another kill, and I've just finally spotted it. Okay, you see where I'm looking? If we go into that dark patch there, there's a cub feeding. It's a baby Inyala, and it's nearly all gone unless the other cub's got the other half. Okay, isn't that incredible? Karula's on a roll. Now that looks like it could be Hasana feeding. I just need to update Taxon because I know he's very interested in seeing these little ones. Tax. Tax, yeah, there you can get a visual from the southern side of the Shkova. She's bummed, it looks like a Mampimpan Nyala. So probably about 70, 80 meters to the east of the Mowati junction with the Shkova. So best access off Leadwood. We've had sightings down there before. There's a 2-track that comes off at the corner. That's your best access. When you get there, I'll direct you in. Look at that. Is that Hasana? I think that's Hasana. Why are you chewing the hoof? That can't be very tasty. Now, I'm pretty certain that first cub we saw was Shongile. Look at that. A very small Inyala. Oh, look at that. Hello, little man. I'm still trying to spot Shongile, but she could be behind to the right, but I can't see her yet, so we'll stick with a nice clear view we have of this cub. Oh, it's a very young Inyana, a couple of days old at the most. Now, not even 100 meters from here is another big group of Inyala that were slowly moving this way. Hungry little blighter. Now, luckily enough, it seems like they managed to shake Tingana. Otherwise, he would have wolfed down that tiny Inyala in a matter of seconds. Oh, his sister coming. No. Maybe. I can't really see through the thicket. Sorry guys, just got to be on the game drive again. Standing by. Copy, no problem. Yum, yum, yum. So Connie's wondering, do I think he's chewing on the hoof because he's teething? Connie, I actually think he's removed the hoof, and with this young Inyala, he can actually break open those very soft young bones of the Inyala and get to the marrow. Okay, look at that. So, looks like that's got a bit bigger. You can see how small that little Inyala is. And half of it's already gone. Really, really hungry. Greedy guts. Now, Thomas is wondering, am I surprised that the cubs have made it this far? No, Thomas. I mean, Karula's a fantastic mother. She's got such a good history of raising cubs to adulthood. And it is a perfect year to have cubs with the drought, so it's easier to catch a lot of the animals out there. And they're just a little bit weaker, a little bit slower. So, no, I'm not surprised at all, Thomas. I'm ecstatic is probably the best way to describe it. See, now he turns his head, he uses those forward incisors and sort of like a big pair of side cutters to open up the skin and get through to the softer meat. Look at that, chewing away. We're just so lucky to spend so much time with these incredible animals. And we are live with them. I mean, you were seeing this little leopard munching a baby Inyala live from the middle of the African bush. It is an absolutely incredible thing. Hi, Nigel. Nigel's in the United Kingdom. And Nigel's wondering, would Mom have killed it with the intent of feeding the cubs first? Yeah, I think probably, Nigel. I mean, she looked relatively well fed when I saw her this morning. But you could see little Hosanna was even thinking about trying to sneak up towards Tingana, look at him, Tingana to try to get a bit more of that impala carcass, but he got growled at. So I think definitely she will often let the cubs feed first, or she'll feed first and then let the cubs have the majority of the kill. Now, this is what leopards are bred for, is to spread as much of their genetic line as possible, so the survival of those cubs is critical. So she will put a lot of effort, and you can just make her out there between those two trees. Okay, and there she is. Shungile is somewhere behind. Let's go back to little Hasana. He's being quite fun. It looks like he's moving that carcass around quite a bit. And there we go. Pop. See how good their camouflage is. He disappears in a second. Yum, yum, yum. Well, hopefully his sister comes into sighting. Look at that. I have binoculars. Let me see if I can spot little Shongile. She looked quite full when we saw her on top of the bank there. So Anne is wondering about the cub's paws, and you can just see that claw coming out there as he grips the meat to hold it in. Now, Anne would like to know about the size of the cub's paws. I think at this stage they're probably about 50% of Karula's size. Now, that little man, probably by 9 months, will have bigger feet than Karula. All just depends. Like, some people have big feet. Some leopards have bigger feet than others as well. Oh, can you actually hear him crunching through that soft rib cage of that baby Inyala? I don't think this kill's going to last too long. Monique is wondering, do we have visuals of Tingana? No, we don't, Monique. I don't actually think Tingana's here. I think they've given him the slip. As I said, I heard Monkey's alarm calling around Djuma earlier. So what I'd recommend is keep a lookout on the Djuma dam cam, especially later on tonight. I think Tingana might make an appearance there. And I hear you guys are getting some fantastic screenshots, and that's the joy of this super zoom on this camera. Now, that's too far for me to get a good photograph, so that's why you don't hear my camera clicking away. Sorry about the movement. I'm just trying to get myself into a slightly more elevated position so I can see if I can spot Shongile while he continues to munch away. Now remember, guys, we are live and you're more than welcome to ask questions. As you can hear, Monique and Nigel have been asking questions. If you're not sure how to do that, use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or send us an email on questions@WildEarthTV. We might be in for a double surprise. While we're sitting here, I just heard the elusive white-throated robin chat calling, so hopefully it comes flitting about closer to us. As I don't know if any of the other presenters have ever put it on camera, but we've only ever managed to get a really good sighting of it once. We hear it calling regularly around these parts. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear that in the distance? That beautiful bird call. Hi, Brenda. Brenda says, this is fantastic. I got rid of cable and found this and never looked back. That's what I do love about these Timbuti thickets. It's not only the leopards that you find here, it's the bird species that you get here. And actually, while we were getting our vehicle ready today, I had the most incredible bird party right around the vehicles. Now, B. Wilson's wondering, is there already a size difference between Hosana and Shungile? Very slight, but from this age going forward, it'll become more and more apparent. So it's very slight at the moment, but it will start getting a little bit more obvious. Oh, I hear an elephant close by. Now, me and my cat would like to know, do I think Hosana will eat the whole thing by himself? Or why is he not sharing with his sister? Well, when I saw her, she looked quite fat and full, so maybe she has been sharing with him and now is just being a little bit smaller and not going to grow as much, that he needs maybe a little bit more than she does. Oh, listen to those birds. This is just the perfect way to spend an evening. We got leopards on a nyala, got one of my favorite birds, Djuma, the white-throated robin, chats serenading me. I'm sitting amongst a Timbuti thicket, one of my favorite types of trees. So Zander, how's your first solo experience so far?
It's been very good.
Very good, yes, very excellent. Did hook him on a few thorn trees getting in here, and maybe dropped some Timbuti latex on him. No, I'm only playing. Of course, I didn't do that. It's so nice to have Karula spending more and more time back on Djuma again. Now that the cubs are a little bit older, I think she feels a bit safer around hyenas and their reaction times. There's definitely some ellies around. Over here somewhere. Off to the right. I can't see any. I can just hear them breaking branches. Yes, I don't think there's going to be much left of this kill by the end of the safari. Especially if the queen decides she needs to dine and maybe Shungile gets hungry again. Hi, Carrie. Carrie, you'd like to know, do I think these leopards will still be here tomorrow morning? I don't. Carrie, there's not enough meat to keep them here. I'm just fascinated and hopeful that she doesn't move, or that she moves further west or north and doesn't go south. Apart from that initial visual of young Shongiri. I think she's just lying behind him there in the shade somewhere. She hasn't come up to greet Mom, as I've been watching. Oh, yum, 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 yum. You know, a very handsome young leopard, Hosana. So with most of the big cats and actually predators in general, leopards and lions and that are weaned at a very young age and become dependent on meat quite quickly. They're completely off milk from about 3 months. In the leopard's case, lions are a little bit longer, but and obviously puts pressure on the mother, because not only does she have to lactate, so she needs to eat enough to produce milk for them, but even from early on they're already eating meat, so she has to still provide them with meat. Oh, is that? Did I spot sister? I think I might have. Just give me a second. I think I finally spotted her. Well, I spotted a flick of her tail. Okay. Can't see anything now. But just to the right of where he is, behind an incredibly big thicket. Just watch there, a little bit to the left. There we go. So you can't see her, it's actually just a wall of trees where she is. So we'll stick with him. Now, I've been lucky enough to spend time. This is my second set of Karula cubs that I've spent time with. Of course, Quarantine and Djuma were much older when I first got to see them last year. And before the end of the year, they were already almost independent young males. Now, I think these two cubs, for me in particular, are always going to be incredibly special, since we've managed to see them within a couple of hours of them being born. So isn't that exciting? I mean, less than 8 hours old, we found these cubs for the first time. Munch, munch, munch. Oh, look at that. He's trying to get in there. Oh, look at that. It's incredible. He's just really, really feeding. He's trying to get into that nice bit of muscle there on the legs. Well, I shouldn't say trying, he's succeeding. Now, hi Tanya. Now, Tanya is asking a question that might cause a little bit of controversy, but controversy is good. Tanya would like to know, do big cats take on their parents' looks? Well, I suppose to a degree, size and coloration is definitely taken on, but individual identifying spots, etc., I don't believe so, and I've spoken to many people who've researched leopards for many years, and it's agreed that to say that a leopard has similar spots to its mother or whatnot is really pushing your luck. It's similar size, similar shape, similar coloration, but I don't think similar spots. Now, I'm sure there's a few people out there who are going to disagree with me, and that is your decision, but I've been watching leopards all over Africa for many years, and I really don't believe that is the case. I've seen cubs that look nothing like their mother before. But anyway, we're going to keep sitting here. Hopefully young Shongile pops out to come share that baby Inyala with Hotsana. Until then, James has got a fluffy creature of his own.
James had a fluffy creature and it was poised beautifully in frame, and then I'm not sure what happened. It got a big fright and they ran off. There were two beautiful little waterbuck here, and then they knocked off into the bush there. Something gave them a fright. I'm not sure what it was. Anyway, there they are, a whole herd of waterbuck. Not particularly in great sort of obvious view at the moment. You just sneak slightly forward. They're really quite nicely backlit through the middle of the bush here. Might be a bit better. They are very skitsy, you know. I'm always amazed at how the antelope out here, I guess because they get eaten by all the predators out here. What we find is that they don't ever actually acclimatize or habituate to the vehicles in the same way that many of the other animals do. Which I always think is quite interesting. So these waterbuck have seen vehicles drive to and fro many times. Now, that is the most beautiful light through a beautiful glade of trees, and unfortunately the waterbuck have decided that instead of framing their faces in the magnificent golden afternoon light, they'd rather frame their bottoms with their rather impressive white rings thereon. I'm not going to take a picture of them. I feel they're insulting us by facing us in that manner, don't you, Wiem?
No, they're okay.
They're okay, are they? Don't you think that would have been quite a pretty picture?
Yes, it would have. It was.
I didn't even take a photograph. No. Oh well. Viem's had enough of them now, you see, so we're going to leave. We had a brief sighting of a herd of elephants. Herd of elephants was a strong word. There are only 3 or 4 of them. They've all headed off basically towards where Brent is, so they might bump into him and Hosana and Shongile and Karula shortly. But we've come down to this area because we're wondering where Tingana is. I don't think he's at that kill site. He may well be quite close to where, or lying up in the thick bush where that other kill was this morning, and so we'll drive about there and see if we can't pick him up. Be nice to see him and spend a bit of time with him, man to man as it were, without the attentions of all the kids, you know. There was a Birchall starling. Everything seems to be distressingly afraid of me today. Anyway, I had an amazing sighting the other day of a whole lot of Birchall starlings. They'd all managed to gather themselves into a huge flock, and they do this towards the end of the winter. I think because the food is so concentrated now for them that it's much easier for them to find in a big flock. In the same way that the buffalo herds get bigger, those waterbuck herds have got bigger, as the water and the food is that much more concentrated. Anyway, let's go up onto the ridge crest here and see what else we can see. Seem to have maintained signal for more than 10 seconds this time round, which is excellent. Hello Matthew, you're a new viewer, and wonderful to hear from you, and thank you for watching us. You want to know what time it is here. It is now 4:15 in the afternoon. Not quite tea time, but almost. And we'll be going until 6 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening, and it'll be dark by then. So that is Central African time. 4:15 in the afternoon. And if anyone else is a new viewer, please do get hold of us, hashtag Safari Live, or questions at WildEarth.TV. That's hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. And you can tweet through your questions or your comments, and we'll do our very best to answer them in a manner that is both satisfactory and entertaining. Hello, Johan Snyder, you're obviously not a bush newbie. There's a hornbill up in the tree there. Johan, you want to know about marula fruits and things that are nice to eat out here, and you say, other than the marula fruit, is there anything nice in the way of fruit to eat out here? Johan, the answer is yes. Not a huge amount, but there is. And obvious examples would include the white berry bush, the guarri bush, which makes very nice sort of red berries. Normally only, though, after a year of good rain. If the rain hasn't been good, we find that the guarri bush fruits are very bitter, very tannin-filled and not very nice. And you get something called a sour plum, which is also quite nice. But I got to tell you, to live out in an area like this, if you didn't eat meat, so if you weren't able to hunt something like one impala once every few weeks, I think you'd really struggle to survive out here. There's not a lot in the way of tubers, there's not a lot in the way of greenery for animals, or at least not animals, but for people to eat. So it's not really like the rainforests. You really would have to hunt the odd bird and catch the odd impala in order to survive out here. Thank you, Johan. That's one of 4 hornbill species we get here. The red-billed hornbill. Righty, on we move to the top of the ridge crest. And for those who are new viewers, like Matthew, you will notice while it's 16:15 in the afternoon, 4:15, you'll also notice possibly that it's winter time. And although it's not cold, it's very dry. All the leaves have fallen off the trees, and the grass is sort of, either absent or pretty golden. But we had a very strange sort of storm the other day, about 20 millimeters, 12 to 20 millimeters, which is about 1 to 2 inches of rain, and that gave some sort of welcome respite to the grazers, because there's now just the odd little tinge of green coming up from the grasses. But we're going into the dry season proper, between sort of August, September, October, and we would expect the first really good rains to come in November, possibly the odd storm before then, which would provide some respite and relief. Now, for those of you who don't know, that is a marula tree there, growing on the top of that termite mound, or sort of growing through that termite mound. And on those marula trees, we find the great marula fruits, delicious things, very rich in vitamin C. I'm not sure if that one is a male or a female. That's only the females that make the fruits. And I'm going to say I think that's a male, and I think it's a male because the edges of the branches are they're not as finger-like as they are on the females. I was told that once. I've never read it, so I'm not entirely sure. Let me just go and try and retrieve one. If Rebecca wants to link over, you'll tell me, will you? Come with me, everybody. We'll go quickly. Here we go. The other way of telling, of course, is to see if there are any pips underneath the tree. And in this case, there are no pips. No seeds, no nuts. So I'm pretty sure that's a male tree. And this is the branches. And you can see here a very kind of, the branches sort of terminate in those very scraggly little twigs. On the females, this would probably be branched 3 or 4 times, and that's so that it can bear the fruit. Lots and lots of fruit normally per tree, depending on the water. We had a very poor marula season this year as well, because of the rather dire state of the rain. Righty, that's the wrong way. Let me get back into the car. Okay, and on we go. I'm going to try and point something out to you now that Wiem, can you see, I mean, with your naked eye you'll be able to see a sort of rocky knoll, but way in the distance, in the far...
It's right behind there.
Is it? Can you just move a little bit forward? There.
Right-hand corner top.
Right-hand corner top, right. We don't have a very long lens with us now. No, you can't really make it out. Anyway, I was trying to show you a view there of what we call the koppies. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is probably Stwijskoppie, which is on Mala Mala, an iconic game reserve to the south of us. I think there's an animal on top of it, which you definitely won't be able to see.
Are we looking at the closer one?
I'm now looking at the closer one, yeah. There you go.
The far one.
I did, but I didn't think you were going to see it. There's definitely something up there. It might be a human being, perhaps having a sundowner. Now, sorry, we had a question and I've missed it. Can you give it to me again, please, Rebecca? Rebecca's directing us. Ah, Barbara. Well, here we go. Let's look over here. Let me get out of the car again. You say, what normally comes first, the tree or the termite mound? I would say that the jury is slightly out on that, but I am almost certain that in most cases the termite mound comes first. In this particular case, I'm going to say the termite mound came after, and I'll tell you why. So I don't think there's a definite way around it. In that case, it definitely came afterwards. That marula tree was not there beforehand. Some trees love to grow on termite mounds. Scotia, I know Brent was showing you a scotia tree earlier today, or a weeping boerbean. They grow on termite mounds. They don't. Termite mounds don't grow around them. Here, you can very clearly see that this is one plant, right? And I'm pretty sure that the termite mound grew up over here. I don't know why it would have happened like that. It certainly hasn't killed the tree, and you can see bits and pieces of it still growing out of the termite mound. It may well have grown up as a result of this dead tree here that's fallen over, and the termites have kind of been attracted to the dead wood here, and they may well have just decided to kind of build their mound here. But it's an interesting one. I don't really know why it would be that they chose to build it around this guarri bush. They're not known for eating guarri bushes, and guarri bushes are not known for sort of wanting to grow inside termite mounds. So I think that's quite interesting. Quite a lot of nice fruit on these trees when there is a good rainy season. And then the other thing I noticed on this particular tree, here we go. Yesterday I noticed this. These ones aren't quite so nice smelling. This is a magic guarri. It's not a Natal guarri, which is the most common one. But they have got flowers there. You can see the flowers are just starting. Very indistinct.
Yeah, you're too close.
No, too close. You got them now? Yes. Fussy guy, Wiem. There are the flowers, and on the Natal guarri, they have a very subtle sweet smell. But these ones, for some reason, do not. Anyway, that's the sort of first flowers I've seen this season. Righty, see what else we can find. Barbara, I know that's a very unsatisfactory answer, I'm afraid. That's just the way it is. There's a termite mound sometimes comes first, and sometimes it doesn't. On we go. Alright, let's go back across to Brent. He has remained with his little leopard friends, and I hope my little leopard friends too, so enjoy them and we'll see if we can find Tingana.
So we're still sitting here in one of my favorite spots of Djuma with possibly some of my favorite cats in Africa. So, and Herbert managed to find Karula. She's made another kill. We don't have the best visuals of her and Shongile, but young Hasana is right down in the bottom of this little ravine, munching on the baby Inyala. So Karula must have moved no more than 150 meters and caught something else. Now we've seen Shongile a little bit earlier, but we haven't seen her for a while. There we go. There's going to be almost nothing left shortly, and I don't think these leopards are going to be here in the morning. Well, sorry about the jumping. It's difficult on Super Zoom. When we laugh, it does get a little bit of a tickle. Ooh, and sister coming. He's had a hiss at sister a couple of times, so she's behind him there somewhere. So Tula Ann, who's 4 years old, says, do all the male leopards become little piggies? Unfortunately, Tula Ann, they do. Male leopards and male lions are very much little piggies, and they'll eat much more than the ladies. Oh, look at that. Now, as I said, they weaned at as early as 3 months leopard cubs, and Robin's wondering, when do leopards lose their milk teeth? Now, Robin, if I gave you an exact answer, I would probably be lying. So I'm not sure, to be exact, and I'm not going to lie to any of you guys. I might have some information on that, but it might take me a while. So maybe someone out there will know when leopards lose their milk teeth. I'm presuming it's quite young. They must have milk teeth, yes. I'm presuming it's quite young, but I'm not 100% sure of the age. So if you know, or you have any information on that, please send it through to me, questions@WildEarthTV, or use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter.